All right, guys, it's Friday afternoon. I thought I'd talk about the £20,000 rule that a few people have brought up. Like, I'm going to move this out of the way because it's glaring on my glasses. Um, but basically, the 20,000 rule, it doesn't matter if £20,000, $20,000. It's more a case of it's 6 months' salary. And I know some of you guys go, I don't earn that in 6 months, but it's just a figure they're using. Because what you're actually talking about is a number where you're comfortable enough that you can go out to the cinema, buy a meal, and not really be bothered about the cost of it because you're comfortable knowing that you're in a position where it's not going to have an immediate impact on your life. You're comfortable, you're content. You may not be happy because because happiness is a pursuit. It's not an achievement; it's a pursuit. So the point being is, you may have a position in life where you're trying to achieve that, and I thought it's a bit unfair to put 20,000 in front of people because I know people that are riddled with debts. I know people that have had some really hard times. I've had people simple as a car breaking down and suddenly buying a new car, £4,000 or £5,000 that they never had. Then having to get the finance, and because they can't go to work if they don't have a car, and they get locked into that debt. And then you're back on that wheel, and you've got to get the bloody car paid off before you have to buy another one on a loan. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle. So the key to it is the 20,000 is something you should aim for, and I would say it. I know I should have my cup of tea first. It's a milestone, but it shouldn't be the first milestone. And I'm going to explain that from the new account that we created, the new Trading 212 account. See, on that, the milestone initially was the first £100. I set that up probably the 25th of last month. So it's currently, I'd guess, about the 9th, 10th at the minute. So I've got another at least 13 days until I hit payday cycle again. So I put the 100 in there. And you can see that you've got that little bit of, it's a little bit of movement. It's not at 100 anymore. If you looked at the thumbnail, it's nearly at 600, because when it hit 100, my next milestone was 500, and now my next milestone is 1,000. And I know you guys haven't got, not all of you guys have got the capability of being able to put £1,000, euros, whatever it is, dollars, whatever it is. You haven't all got lots and lots of money. But the point being is, you set what works. So I was talking to my wife earlier. It's my son's birthday coming up. See, here's a key thing. You probably notice I don't give specifics because people steal your data. So I've got my son's birthday coming up. What I'm going to do is open him a junior ISA account, and I'm only going to open it with initially a £30, and I'll put £30 a month in. But what happens is, I have accumulative months where I have spare cash, and then suddenly I'll just shove 200 quid in there. Because the idea being is get that to that first 1,000, and I just park it. I just let it run itself. Yeah, I'm building my wealth, not his wealth. It's a Kickstarter for him. And he does stuff for money anyway. He does chores and he does transcription stuff for us, and he has jobs that he does for the in the house, so he can generate his own wealth. But the first 1,000, when you start seeing the interest accumulating, that's what I'm looking for. Now, the reason I bring this up is, when you first start, the worst critic is often going to be yourself. You're going to go, like I said, that's why you don't start with 20,000. 20,000 is pie in the sky. It's a big number. If you're on minimum wage or just struggling to pay the bills, you're struggling, right? You're struggling. That's it. But if you can put, say, £30 a month in there, and you can do it every month, it will accumulate. because it's the 30 that goes in, then it accumulates the interest. It snowballs. It ain't going to be massive. It won't be massive. But you will start to see over time, as that money grows and you keep adding to it, it goes like this. And then you start thinking, do you know what? We keep having a curry on a Friday. It costs £34 a week. I'm going to cook a curry on a Friday instead. Which we'll spend 10 quid on the ingredients. I'm going to put the other 24 quid in the fund. Okay. Well, that's nearly, you just took that to nearly £130 a month. Now that's going to accumulate quicker. So the point being is, you start to get these little incentives. And if you look at my screen on my thumbnail, not me, you'll see that in our first month we've accumulated nearly £30 in income. I'm going to say income because if you use the referral code, it's down here, when you sign up and do your first investment, etc., you'll probably get a share for around £10 something, and you get that for free, and I get it for free. So if I can get 10 people to do that, that's another £100 in my account, and I've already had a couple of people do it already. And I want to say thank you for doing that as well. It's important because for me, I want to show how quickly this can grow. This is why this is not my Vanguard fund, which is separate, because guess what? The 20,000's already in there. It's unfair to show. It's unfair to show an account that is already there, because everyone loves telling you a good story about the upsides and not getting to the downsides, right? We're probably going to look at a market crash soon. I'm not considered that as a problem. Firstly, you pick your assets based on what's going to work. If you do not understand it, pick something like the S&P 500. Pick a Vanguard fund. Pick, I think it's iShares. They will manage your money for you. They will do a spread across 500 assets. So your risk is reduced. You'll have within those dividends. You'll have a mix of technology, fuel, healthcare, all sorts of assets. But your risk is reduced. So even when it goes down, because when the tariffs come in with Trump, I lost £2,500 at that time. I still continued investing because it meant shares were cheaper. It's now grown in the last week by, I think, £350 in a week. It had already recovered the money it lost ages ago. So the point being is, the stock market, stocks, bonds, shares, they're long-term investments. If you want to sit and day trade, I will tell you now, I've done it. It's labour intensive. It can go up and down like this. And I'm going to start trading once I've got separate. I'm going to put a separate account with £1,000 in it, just for trading. But to be perfectly blunt, there's two accounts in this one at the minute. There is one. There's two accounts in the 212, and there's a third one I'm going to start. One is more stocks and shares, and it's more focused on outside of the UK market, US market. It's more Asia orientated, where I can see higher volatility, where there's higher risk, higher rewards. It's 99% Vanguard. It's just different funds in Vanguard. The other one, I call it motorbike, because I want to buy the motorbike. Well, what's better than putting all the money for the motorbike in an investment and then ending up with the money in the funds and buying the motorbike out of interest? Because I'm not in a rush for a motorbike at the minute. I know I want to do it, but I've got to do the license first, and that's another headache, because I've got to do it in Spain because I've got a Spanish driving license. So that's going to take me a bit longer. But the whole point is that little bit of a wait means I keep the money. We'll end up with a motorbike. At worst, I'll end up with half the amount out of shares and interest, and the other half out of the money I put in. The best side of it is I end up with a motorbike for completely free out of interest. That's the ideal world. Now, yeah, so the first account's more Asian markets, Japan, etc. Second one is more dividends orientated, which is more global as well. It's got things like Procter and Gamble, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, those types of stable investments where you get stock fluctuations, but at the same time you're looking for the dividends, because I'm not going to pull out these, I'm just going to leave them in there. Then I just seen one yesterday, which is a UK dividends account, where somebody's already done all the work. They basically put it together, because that's one of the things you can do in there, is you can look at what other people are working in. It tells you what the percentage growths are. You'll see in the middle something like 20% or whatever, and that's the growth the year before. Now, I will say there's no guarantee of any of this going up and down. I'm not a financial advisor, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to put that in every video, because that's not what I'm here for. I'm not trying to pitch a sale to you. I'm just telling you this is what's working for me. And I was just talking to my wife about this, because the reality is, let's call the 20k ISA on its own, it's just 20k. That's growing at 13% a month. Sorry, I wish. 13% a year, which is on that account would be £2,600 a year interest. It's getting to that point where I could literally just leave 20,000 in there and not touch it. It's going to grow at 2,600 a year, estimated. That's realistic. But then it'll compound, because the 2,600 from last year, next year will compound on what's in there already, and that's how it grows. It's the compounding factor. But what I'm looking at is, because we started these new accounts, so that ISA over there gets £400 a month in it. That's just pushed to one side. Forgot about. It's automatic. Vanguard deal with that. Getting 13% return, not grumbling, leaving it to it. These other three, I'm going to start bringing them all up to 1,000 each. And like I says, says. Grammar police will be around. Like I said earlier, I don't expect you to be able to do the same stuff I'm doing. I'm not asking you to do that. What I'm trying to show you is 3 different accounts doing 3 different things, and we can compare how they all perform differently. Because I don't expect to lose any money on all of them. Oh look, the market's just crashed after saying that. No, realistically, it should be fine. I don't pick Duff stock. Touch wood. But the idea being is I'll put 1,000 in each, and we can see how they perform. And then what I'll do is, once they hit 1,000, this is why the 600 was important, because the 600 is now going, Matt, payday in another week or so. You know what? Top that up to 1,000. That's the first account live, which it isn't, because it's actually spread across. It's spread across 2, and one's not even live yet. And I bought other stocks separately as well. There's loads of stuff in there. I made a bit of a mess of it, to be fair, because I was buying stocks outside of my selection. Because when you buy the pie graphs, there we go, the pie graph, and what they do is they sort of, for example, they go, oh, let me do this. That section there is Tesco's. That's Procter and Gamble. It's based on the amount you've got invested in them. But also, you can alter the pie graph to suit the percentages. So you may go, well, I've got 4 and I want 25% in each. And you can do that, and it'll, every time you put, say, £100, 25 goes in each section. Fairly stable. But I've got 22 companies in total, I think, plus I'm on the different Vanguard funds, which got hundreds of companies in each one. So we don't need to get that advanced on this. What I want to just show is we got the Vanguard outside of Europe. We've got the dividends, which is more global, and then we've got the dividends, which will be UK. Because I want to try and do some stuff for the UK, which is hard work with the lovely government we got, but I'll gamble £1,000 with my own stupidity. To be fair, just if you're dealing with supermarkets, they all seem to do a boom regardless, because everybody needs to eat. It's the same as I've got Kimberly Clark. Why? Paper towels, toilet rolls, Kimberly Clark. Coca-Cola, everybody drinks it. Nescafe's on there. Pepsi Cola's on there. There's a lot of stuff that Eli Lilly, I think, is in there as well. I've got Pfizer. I bought some of Pfizer yesterday, and AstraZeneca I bought as well, because AstraZeneca has got a drug for cancer patients that's been approved, I believe. So I'll always say believe, because you should always double check. Nike I was looking at, but it does seem like Nike's still going down. I thought Nike was more stable than that, but I might have missed something. But somebody did say, I think it was a new CEO said something. So if it's been a woke thing, it will continue to go down, because they destroyed their market, by the way, Nike, because they moved away from their sort of resellers. Because it's like my brother-in-law's heavily into his shoes, his sports shoes and stuff, and they sort of they try to get rid of all that and made it all like they're selling Apple computers. Completely dumb move, really is. Well, what do you know? Just look at their stock shares. Don't ask me, just look at the stock. I'm purely performance based. But I wanted to make this video today, though, just to say you don't have to invest a lot. The key to it is regular. Even when you're in a downward month, I had a load of tax problems caused by where I was before. So this month, my bank account's only actually got £10 in it. That's the lowest it has been since early 90s. And I can already hear my wife in my ear going, yeah, that's your UK bank account, but you've also got a Wise account, you got a Tesco credit card that I got last week, and my Spanish bank account. All right then. but it's the lowest it's ever been, because I normally try and keep a float of at least £2,000 in there. But I thought, you know what? That's where all the money's come from for the investments, because I haven't took any money out of my Spanish account, because I move a lot of money into Spain, because I have things like mortgage there, a brand new car. But as I was explaining to my wife this morning, when I look at it, I'm going, you know what? I'm going to reduce what I sent to Spain and put more into the ISAs and the stocks, because quite simply, I think we can outrun the mortgages and etc. on the interest we'll make by using the same money rather than paying it early. But we'll get into a video on that later. But I did want to say, guys, don't get disheartened when people say 20,000 is a miracle, blah, blah, blah. It's not. It's not. I mean, why do you think I'm so comfortable just leaving £10 in my bank account? Because there's food in the fridge, there's electric, the rent's paid, I'm in employment. The only thing that can go wrong is my car breaking down. And now I mention it's going to do it, isn't it? It is going to do it on me. Yeah, but even then, I'm not worried about it. So what? Hang on. Why did I get a Tesco's credit card when I haven't had a credit card for years? Very simple one. Mileage for work. So the thing is, although I don't really use my credit rating, because I normally pay everything in cash, the new company doesn't give you an expense account, but they pay your expenses quite quickly. And I'm thinking, well, I don't really want this burden on my bank account, because it could be like 400-500 a month. Just an example, because like next week, I'm driving to Hull. Hull's about 2.5 hours drive each way. I've got some sites up there. The week after, I'm going to Peterborough, which is about an hour and a half, and I've got that to and fro. I've got to go Wansbeck, which is another 2.5 hours, because that's even further than Hull. I think that's probably 3 hours journey. I've got contracts in Luton. I've got contracts all over the UK, East Anglia. Now, people go, oh, Tesco points. See, I don't even get into that stuff because I just don't see the point of the Tesco points. But at the same time, filling up with Tesco, using their credit card, putting the receipt in that day, going to the site, waiting for the money to come back in. As soon as it comes in, transferring it straight back onto that credit card. Credit rating improves because, oh look, he's had a loan, he's repaid the loan. He's had a loan, he's repaid the loan. There's never any debt on the credit card beyond 2 weeks. And that's why I've got a credit card, is to keep my liquidity, so the £400-500 will be locked up in the company owing me money constantly is gone. And guess where that's going? In the ISA. So that's my thoughts anyway today. I'd love to hear your feedback on this and what you're doing and what you find works and what's your best stock picks. And I will actually open the laptop up and actually go through what I've got, just so you can see what the full portfolio is. I haven't shared my pies. When I say pies, I'm not talking about chicken pie, or it's the pie with a Y. My breakdown of the stocks, but I'm going to go through that later. I'll probably do that later today actually, because now it's Friday, and to be fair, I sprained my ankle, so I'm not going to the gym. I haven't been able to go to the gym for 2 weeks. But anyway, thanks for watching.